So, team culture and what I've learned in the past couple weeks and months, and obviously before I didn't really have the biggest team, so it wasn't really the biggest, issue for me when it comes to team because it was only myself, right? So if you're watching this and you don't have a team yet, well, this probably isn't the video for you. Just skip it, watch a different one, and come back at a different time. But if you already have a team and you're noticing your team's lacking, you're noticing something is off, whatever it may be, you have to realize to fix this culture, you have to fix yourself, right? And it's such a common misconception where a lot of people think that team members and staff and employees are just going to magically become better or magically become what you want them to be. For example, like A players, right? In order to attract A players, you yourself have to be an A player. You have to be the A player of the A players, right? And frankly, what I've realized, because in the last couple of weeks or months, I've had various different periods where I've not been at my best. There's been times where I've been dopamine depleted, and as cringe as that sounds, it is real, right? It is times where, sorry, where I'll fall into this rut of scrolling, of watching social media, watching movies, YouTube. I'll feel like I'll take kind of the what do you call it, the my foot off the pedal, right, off the gas, and I'll slow down a little bit, right. I'll ease into things, and I won't care too much about what's happening in the business and whatnot. I would just kind of relax and stay a little bit stagnant, right. In those periods, I would be completely okay with, heck, whatever kind of happening and going around. I wouldn't care at all about my team and checking up on them or making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do or shit like that. I wouldn't care, right, at all. And then there's also been periods where I would heavily care, right? I would heavily care. I would check every 3 to 4 days. I would check how they're performing, what their KPIs are, if they're hitting them. I would report it back to them. I would send them video updates. I would keep them up to their standard, right? And full transparency, what's been happening recently is I've become far more lazy and far more okay with the team slacking, right? And what I mean by that is, for example, for my call center or for my basically my clients' leads, right? What's been happening is I have two setters that take care of everything, right? They're managing all our accounts. They have divided them 50-50 each, and they're calling all the leads, right? I've just gotten so used to them just knowing what they're supposed to do that I just frankly don't care, which isn't good, right? I just don't care, right? If they're calling, if they're not, like obviously if they're not calling, I do care, but I don't care enough to check, right? I don't look if they're calling all their leads. I don't look at that. I used to send them video updates. I don't do that anymore. And I used to notice a big difference in when I was constantly on it and actually sending them video reports. I would weekly see a lot more appointments being booked, a lot more traction for our clients than now, right? And that's just me being fully transparent. I've kind of had to sit down and figure out why it is like this. And it is truly one of those things where your team standard is only as high as the standard that you set for yourself, because a team is very much like, as cringe as it sounds, a wolf pack, right? If you have a wolf pack, you have the leader wolf that all these other wolves are kind of following after and copying, right? If he's lazy and stagnant, he's not willing to hunt whatever it is, like they're going to end up doing the same thing, right? If I don't send my setters video updates and I don't tell them that I'm looking at the KPIs, and I don't often mention them, I don't often look back at their KPIs and say, hey, last week you did this week we're tracked to doing this, great job, or hey, you need to bump this up. If I don't do that, it shows them and it tells them that, hey, this guy isn't really paying attention, right? So when a new lead comes in, they might think, oh, you know what? We'll call them later. Like, Hyder's not going to check it regardless. Oh, we'll call them tomorrow. I'll just say something happened, you know? Like, they start becoming a lot slower than being quick, fast on their feet, right? Which I want them to be. And I notice this happens in seasons, and this specifically happens a lot when my own standard for myself is lowered, right? At that time, automatically my team standard gets lowered. So it's all about, first of all, when you want to build a excellent culture with your team and a really really good business culture with your employees, your team, your staff members, whoever it may be, you have to have your standard right. You have to make sure that you do exactly what you tell yourself that you need to do, because only if you can keep your standard and your promises to yourself safe and you can actually follow through on them, that's the only way that the team will actually be able to do the same. Okay, so it's a very important thing. I know this was a short video. Just make sure that whatever you say to yourself day by day, you are able to do that and you're able to hit it, right? You have your own standard for that. At that point, you're just going to attract the same type of talent, and you're going to attract people that are just like you, that follow through and actually give a fuck about the company, right? Because the last thing you want is having somebody take care of a big part of your company and you not having any overview of what's happening and not having any idea if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and looking at KPIs that way. So this is an important reminder for me as well. Full transparency. I am going back to doing this a lot more often. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to do 2 weekly checks, regardless of what happens. I'm going to do one like midweek and then one by the end of the week. And both times I'm going to match up KPIs and look exactly at what they're doing. It's exactly like, for example, launching a client and not giving an F about their KPIs. Yes, you might in the beginning, but say that client starts getting traction and you just start giving an F about their campaigns. Like, you can't do that. You still, regardless if you don't want to change stuff, you still have to monitor it, right? And right now, I'm not monitoring, right? Because I don't have my life straight in what the things that I want to do. And I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, right? So that is causing my team's culture and standards also to drop. So very important reminder for me, myself, and I, and important reminder for anybody watching this in a similar situation. Hence what I wanted to share. All right. If you guys enjoyed it, like the video, please do subscribe as well if you want to and you want to see more videos. This is video number 4, I think. So we got a couple more coming up. And then also, if you have any questions, anything you need help with, or anything you just want to chat about, feel free. My IG is down below. Shoot me a text and we'll talk. All right. Thank you guys for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.